Since 2015, I've wanted to build my own startup, specifically SaaS company. Now that we have NoCode and AI tools, it makes it really easy to build pretty much anything today. So today I'm sharing my first steps to building my first SaaS product. Can I build it to 5K in 90 days? So I put over 10 years into entrepreneurship, digital marketing, podcasting, all of that stuff. And I want to see if I can use these skills to work in the SaaS industry. I know phase one is understanding the market. You can't really make a product. What you got to do is have the market make the product, because overall, the best products solve people's problems. As much as people claim to hate Amazon, people love Amazon and use Amazon nonstop because it solves their problem. You don't have to run outside and buy the stuff. You can find it online at a cheaper price and have it delivered to your doorstep the next day. It solves a problem, plain and simple. So for me, having my customers build the product means I want to do demos. I want to get on phone calls with people. Like, I know you can look at forums, look at polls, and do research and stuff on what other people have told other people. I want them to tell me themselves. I think that's the best way to build a really valuable product, is to have your customer sit in front of you and tell you, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I need help with. This is what my problem is. All of that stuff is just break it down. So one of my first action steps is to do 25 demo calls with prospects before I sell anything. Put it this way. I know if I talk to 25 people, that's enough of a sample size for me to know if this idea is good or not, and to know if my even perspective on the idea is good or not. Because I might be thinking of it one way when people look at it a whole nother way. You know, sometimes we as entrepreneurs get in our own heads about something. I've done this with podcasts a lot, where I think it should go this way, but the entire market sees it a whole different way. And you can't get mad at that. You got to kind of accept that for what it is. And I think it's a good thing, because the market is telling you, hey, this is what we want. So then you have the advantage now. You just go make what they want. Now, a big part of this is ICPs. ICPs are ideal customer profiles. So a big part of this, because although I'm talking to 25 people, I got to narrow that down so it's only a certain type of person I'm talking to. I don't want to talk to just any and everybody, because that just won't be good for what it is that I want to create. So after understanding the market, it is really good because it helps me set the foundation, but there's still a lot of activity I got to take, a lot of steps before I start building anything. Positioning is really about deciding where you want to be in the market. How do you want to be perceived in the market as well? You can be kind of at the top level where you're charging premium pricing and people have to pay top dollar to work with you. I don't think that's always bad. You know, you can be at the bottom level where it's like the beginner aspect, where, you know, people that are just coming into the market work with you. That all depends on your position. So you want to choose this, you don't want it chosen for you. So first off, like I said earlier, your ICP, ideal customer profile. Now, it's really smart to have multiple versions of this, because think of it this way. You might have one product and it solves one problem, but it could solve that same problem for a lot of different people. Like, my favorite version of this is a fitness app, right? You can have a fitness app, but your fitness app could help so many different people. That's what would make it great, honestly. If you help athletes in college, and then bodybuilders, but then also, recent mothers who are trying to get back in shape. That's a really diverse app that helps a lot of different people. So I think that's the way you want to go, is have different customer profiles. And after that, you develop messaging for all of these different profiles. So if you got just one direct message that goes to everybody, that's what's going to make your marketing pretty trash, right? So I don't want to do that, where I'm marketing the same message to everybody. No, I'm breaking it down based on the customers first, and then getting really detailed on the messaging that will reach that specific person where they are. I think this is where content comes into play. Good content is going to help you with your positioning, because it helps you further solidify that position. If I was in the beginner phase of a market, right? That's who I want to help, is the beginners. Let's say I have a podcast hosting platform and I focus on getting podcasters past their first 8 episodes and then their next 20, right? I don't want them to pod fade. That's my whole brand message. That's my position in the market. That means I'm not really working with people on getting them sponsored. I'm more so working with beginner podcasters on launching their show, getting the right tools, being consistent, all of that stuff. So I will create content that helps that person where they are. I'm going to give you the systems and the resources so that starting your show and creating the right, methods makes it easier to continue the show, right? Sometimes that might even include like the mindset stuff on why you shouldn't quit, why you shouldn't give up, all of that type of stuff. That's a perfect position in the marketplace, because anybody that's coming into the market now can work with me to get that problem solved and continue them on to the next phase of being a podcast host. So again, part of my process is creating that ideal customer profile. Then I'm working on a message for that person, and then a content plan to reach that person where they are. And another pro tip here is the reason why the ICP is so important as well, because when you get to the content part, you even might switch that up. Like for certain types of customers, I wouldn't create just podcast content. I'm going to create the blogs and then the YouTube videos, or some of them I'm going to post it on this social platform and not this one, right? Like I know if I'm trying to reach podcast agency owners, they're in certain groups on Facebook and they don't really use Instagram that much. But the independent podcasters, they love to use Instagram. Some of them use LinkedIn. Like all of that stuff comes into play when you're breaking down that ICP. That's why that is so pivotal. Positioning is great because it opens doors. Now, even after we did all of this, we still aren't ready just yet to start building. We still got a little bit more to do, and that is pricing. Pricing a SaaS product can be difficult because you can't just price it based on what people say. I hate when people say that. Go and ask the customers what they would pay. Like that works with other types of products, but it's so different with software because your customers aren't even thinking about the other costs that come along with operating your product. They're just thinking about the price to solve that one problem, not realizing there could be other layers to it, right? When it comes to AI stuff, so many things happen behind the scenes that cost you money as a business owner that the customer never thinks about. And I'm not saying that they have to. I'm just saying that because they don't, you can't say, well, they said they would pay this amount and then run with it. Again, I think that's part of the process, but it shouldn't be the entire thing. You know, it should be just part of your pricing system. So there are a couple of things that I'm doing to get my pricing down perfectly. The first thing is analyzing what people are paying for in the market, right? I want to look at a bunch of other tools. I got like a list of 20 already that, and if you don't have competition, so to speak, in your market, you probably shouldn't build a product at all because that means that nobody wants it. And I had to learn this to heart. Like, it's what it is. Like, don't fight it. But the competition is good. You want to see whether people are charging to solve a problem similar to yours. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. And that's what I'm doing. I got a list of 20 companies I'm looking at already. I want to see what their pricing is, because that'll kind of give you an average of what people are paying for across the industry. Now, you can't get inside of these companies' numbers and see exactly what people are paying, how often, how much they're like. You can't see every detail. All you can see is the pricing on the website if it's listed. Like, that's it. Now, one thing I will ask my prospects is how much they're paying to have the problem solved currently. Because sometimes that will tell you everything you need to know. Like if there's somebody out there that's paying a trainer at their local gym $500 a month, you know, and that's their personal trainer or whatever, that means that person probably would also pay for a virtual online trainer if it was less and you offered them more, right? So that's kind of how I look at it, is with this in-depth research with the customers, not just asking, hey, would you pay for this? That's just really lazy in my opinion. And it's not going to get you the real results and information from them that you actually want. And the last part of me putting together my pricing is about me. Honestly, I didn't start this business so I could not be profitable. There are certain goals and things that I want to attain by having this business. Part of why I started the company. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I don't want to make money. Of course I do. So for me, there is a minimum I would charge for my product. That's just the truth. And I have to be at that kind of threshold, you know, or higher. If it's too low for me, it's not a business worth building. That's just the truth. Like, I think with pricing, that's where you got to be more honest with yourself about like, okay, is this really actually worth me building? Because for me, I don't want to waste my time building a product, setting something up, and websites, funnels, all of this stuff, and I'm making $10 a customer. Like for something that's running on autopilot, that's great. But for something I'm going to put time in, make content, set up funnels, do demo calls, events, even all kind of stuff, I don't want it to be something where if I got one drink at Starbucks, that's one customer right there. Like, no. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, it doesn't have to be $1,000 a month. It doesn't have to be anything crazy like that. But 10, 15 is just way too low for me personally. I understand if that's you and your B2C SaaS. I get it. I respect it. It's just not something that I want to do. But don't let pricing intimidate you. Like for me, I'm not really terrified of pricing because I started in an MLM world. Like, I've gone to people's doors and knocked on the door and tried to sell them life insurance and stuff. Like, nothing about this scares me at all when it comes to pricing or selling for that matter. All right, people, I know I got a whole new setup here, but I had to re-record my outro because it just got messed up. If you do any kind of video production, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm super excited to be on this path to build this startup. I just want to share my journey here through content. I think one of the best things I did when I was in podcasting is just constantly sharing information and details on what I'm building, why I was building it. I think it just helps tremendously. And I would encourage all other founders to do the same thing. It's one of the best things you can do is putting everything you're doing out there. And I mean, not from the perspective of being braggadocious. Like, we see a lot of that where people are like, I made X amount of dollars and all of that stuff. I don't think that that's always the lesson. It should be other parts of it too. So I'm super excited, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I'm starting a newsletter very soon. Check it out, link in the description below. Let's connect on LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that good stuff. I'll see you next time.